And we are joined now by Calgary Flames broadcaster and host Ryan Leslie, a former colleague and friend of Johnny Gaudreau and the family. Ryan, thank you for joining us, and sincere condolences for your loss. What was your reaction when you heard this terrible news?
Well, like so many people, Jeff, I think everybody who knew John or watched John, got to know the family, everybody's kind of in what was described by a former teammate of his, Matt Stajan. He said it best, just in a fog, and I think that's exactly it. This community in Calgary, across the National Hockey League landscape, everybody's just feeling that this can't be real. Everybody's obviously devastated. But I think first and foremost, you just think of that family, from his wife Meredith and 2 young children, to his parents, Jane and Guy Gaudreau, to the sisters, the siblings. To lose both Maddie and Johnny, it's just an unspeakable, unthinkable tragedy.
Yeah, there are no words. Canadians knew Johnny Hockey, as he was known to so many, the NHL superstar, of course. But tell me about Johnny, the person.
Well, I think, yeah, to your point, everybody remembers those highlight reel moments. He could electrify and get anybody and everybody out of their seat. It didn't matter if it was a Tuesday night against the last place team or a Saturday night, hockey night in Canada with the bright lights. He was electrifying, and he was all world. And, you know, he would flip into this video game mode and just be incredible to watch. But also, you know, you think about what he meant to this community, and it's incredible. You know, hockey players, as we know, mean so much to the youth in this country, but Johnny had a really special relationship with the kids. I don't know if it was his size, the big smile, the way he played, but certainly the time he took to spend with them. It was impressive. I can remember a number of examples, going out to an outdoor rink, -20, and he and I handing out Flames jerseys and scarves, and he would put on the skates and go for a twirl with them, and just making memories everywhere he went. And I've heard from a lot of parents whose kids are, you know, struggling with this as well. The adults, the kids, everybody is trying to make sense of this thing. And it's a real gut punch on a lot of different levels. And, you know, personally, it's heartbreaking. Professionally, you just hate to see this sort of thing happen. It doesn't matter about status or fame. This is a family devastation. And first and foremost, you think about everybody in that Gaudreau and extended family last night, today, and for years to come.
And I know you covered him really right from the beginning, traveled with him, and your families knew each other. Any memories that stand out to you personally?
Yeah, there's a number. I was flipping through some of the texts that he and I had exchanged over the years. There's a couple of funny moments where, you know, he'd have an off night in Columbus, and he and his wife Meredith would be watching the Flames game and watching me and making fun of me if I'd said or done something or worn something, and then he'd bet me that I couldn't say certain words in my broadcast. One stood out, and it was, "I bet you can't say popsicle. Steak dinner on the line." I said, "I'll take that bet," and I worked it in. And it was great. He would take such joy out of it. And instead of the dinner, he ended up paying off his debt with, he gave me a pair of his gloves when he came back. It was my birthday, and he signed them for me. And so that was a really cool personal moment. But the one that I think really stuck out for me is my daughter was turning 13. She's now 17. And she wanted for her 13th birthday a vehicle to match her nickname, was G. So she wanted a G-Wagon SUV. And instead, I said, "I know a guy who's got one." Didn't tell her. And Johnny Gaudreau and his wife Meredith and myself went to her school in their SUV, pulled up out front, in front of all of her friends. He got out, took photos with all the kids, and inside photos that were signed for a few of the kids, and gave a ride home from school. And that never was lost on my daughter, who is taking this news, like a lot of kids who loved Johnny, and like a lot of adults who knew him very well, very, very hard. Very, everybody's just struggling to kind of make sense of it all. But yeah, you know, just great moments. And the last exchange he and I had was about his son that had recently been born, and what it meant to him. And, you know, as a father, your heart breaks for those children, and certainly for what it's going to look like down the road. But personally and professionally, he knew what he was, and that was just a charismatic, passionate hockey player who had time for just about everybody. And in this market, he'll be sorely missed, and certainly across the NHL as well.
Yeah, I mean, it seems everybody's talking about how, of course, he was this incredible hockey player, but first and foremost was really a family man, very close to his family, including his brother, Matt. Tell us about Matt.
Well, Matty was here for a brief stint in Calgary. Matty also played at Boston College with Noah Hannafin, who Johnny was just at Noah Hannafin's wedding, and so the connections run deep. And Matty was a lovable guy, big grin, close with his brother, obviously, and in the short time that I got to know him, you kind of sensed that the infectious smile and passion for the game was there. So to think that this family has lost both their sons, we're talking about sons and uncles and brothers and husbands, it's really hard to imagine.
Yeah. Anything else you want to share, Ryan?
Well, I think just the idea that in, hearing from some of his old teammates, the Matthew Tkachuks, the Matt Stagens, the Noah Hannafins, everybody's just out of the Sam Bennett's. They're just at a loss. And, wedding season, John was at a number of them. What he meant to so many people, be it teammates, people that he'd come across here in Calgary, or even the media, he put up with us. And getting a chance to know that wonderful family over the years the way I did, very fortunate. But he's going to be missed. This is one that will stay with a lot of people for a very long time.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure he'd be proud that you got the word popsicle into one more broadcast here with us today. Flames broadcaster Ryan Leslie speaking to us from his home in Calgary. Ryan, so sorry again for your loss, and take care. Thanks for taking the time.
Thanks for having me.